Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
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 Good day, viewers, and welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. Today with me is Mr. Eugene Gabriel, who is the founder and managing director of E&E Agrochemicals. Welcome to the program, Mr. Eugene.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sidney.
Great, sir. You have two surnames, Eugene and Gabriel. Who is Eugene Gabriel? Tell us about yourself.
Eugene Gabriel, founder of E&E Agrochemicals. I started this company back in 2020. It was because when I saw the need for it in our sector if we are going to survive our food security crisis. And I decided to develop my agrochemicals. I consider myself a pioneer in the sector, in the sense that I have seen what that is out there, and everything that is out there is imported. So why not? Why not us? Why not St. Lucia? To develop something that could actually increase food production in a safe way.
But why agrochemicals, really? I mean, what sensitized you going into agrochemicals?
Well, majority of my family is into agriculture.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of friends of mine fall sick over the years. Cousins of mine who are farmers, they use the agrochemicals incorrectly, or a lot of people that want to eat more healthy foods. So that's why I actually push in the organic agrochemicals use, or the biopesticides that are safer to use than the alternatives. I mean, I'm not saying I don't use the alternative, but there are safer ways to use what we produce.
Okay, so when you began, what ingredients, what are the local ingredients that you use to develop your agrochemicals?
Yes, when I first started out in 2020, I used a lot of local ingredients. Things that were actually around my home that I realized that could actually help the plants grow properly. And that's when I developed my first product, Agromax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the trials were difficult because of climate change. When I developed the first product, my first mistake as an entrepreneur, I made 75 gallons of a product that I didn't know that would work.
Okay.
Send it for testing. It took about a month and a half to go to Canada to come back. And then I was satisfied with the results. I gave out over 2,000 samples of the product to make sure when I put it out on the shelf that I could stand up to all scrutiny.
Okay.
That would come my way.
How long ago you began that?
2020. I came back home in 2019.
2019. So you are into agrochemicals, plus you also do fertilizers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the fertilizers that I do are liquid.
Oh,
so
okay.
they are bracketed under the agrochemical sector.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us exactly the number of brands that you have under the agrochemicals.
Right now, I have 5 agrochemicals on the market. They are all nutrient products. There is Agromax, Cal 10, Cal Mag B, Cal Nite, and Nitro Pro.
Okay.
Presently. Hopefully by February, we should have at least 6 to 7 more products that I have created within the last several months. I'm just waiting for all my analysis to come back from the lab so that I could start mass producing. Because we've been doing tests in Dominica, Barbados, Antigua, Grenada, and all have been wonderful. And those are products that are not out on the shelf yet. So we have those test plots for the Caribbean to make sure when we now mass produce, what we tell the farmers is what the farmer gets.
Okay, so let's look at St. Lucia. So you have test plots around the island?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so when you began your first set of chemicals, you went around selling the ideas to the farmers?
Yes, I did.
Based on what you know what's happening out there?
I played the role of like an extension officer. I would take my bag, put my agrochemicals in it, and go to the farmer. Ask them what is the issue that they're having. And a lot of them, they always the same thing. Either we have blossom and rot, we have not enough fruit spoilage, and that alone triggered me because I know the ingredient that I use could actually help those farmers. And lo and behold, once I started to distribute it, now farmers were calling me for a product that was not on the shelf. So I decided, you know what, let's do this. And when I started in the little juice water bottle. And then they started to complain the label's too small. And then I realized if I'm going to do this, I need to do this properly. And then I actually got in contact with some people in China for some bottles. And you could never tell Agromax was a local product on the shelf.
Okay. So who is really monitoring your products in terms of certifying that they are ready for use in the market?
Okay, well, I work closely with the Ministry of Agriculture and IECA. So anything that I develop, I make sure I come to them first. I speak to a lot of extension officers, even the pesticide board. I've had numerous meetings with them. All my documents for my agrochemicals, I make sure I bring it in and Bureau standards. So whatever I say that is on the bottle is what that is certified.
Okay. All right. So I know you have worked with a number of farmers who are involved in the 7-crop program.
Yes.
Especially watermelons, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about your success stories with that particular chemical.
Okay, with that particular farmer, Cancius, he have been farming for over 20-something years. And he said to me, he needs something that would double his crop yield. And I'm talking about tonnage.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, we'll go into an agreement. If I double your crop yield, you promote the product for other farmers. That was all it was.
Okay.
It wasn't anything else. But you teach a farmer to use agrochemicals properly. You do it in the way that we're supposed to be doing it, and safely. To use your PPE, use your proper equipment, you monitor your crop how we're supposed to. And our first set of watermelons we did, he got 14 tons or 14 van loads, when normally it was only 7 he used to get.
So it doubled that?
So it doubled that. And we saw the increase in the post-harvest. So he would store it longer, they would stay longer, they would be sweeter, they would ripen earlier on the vine, so which means he would harvest earlier also.
Okay.
So that alone, he was happy. And even the cost of the agrochemicals he used to use back then to now decreased. So he saved a lot in his pocket, so his profit margin was wider.
So you're looking only at soil health. Are you looking at the control of pests and diseases also?
I actually am. I'm in the process of actually creating one fungicide and one insecticide. I've created them already. I'm just finishing the documents to take to the pesticide board and waiting for my documentation from the lab to put them together, do my labels, and bring them to Bureau Standard and the pesticide board to get them registered.
Interesting, because I still want to go back a bit to ask you, what gave you that, that mind to go that way and to know the various raw material that you can get locally to put this together?
Okay, so growing up, and I would take a book from my grandfather. He has always been my inspiration.
Okay.
He always said to me, anything that is around you that the bee lands on or the birds eat is healthy.
Yes, that's true.
It's not poisonous. Think of what they do with it, or how they process it themselves, and then process it yourself.
Okay.
We know that, for instance, bananas, if our bodies is low in potassium, we know sometimes we pick up a banana to eat,
right,
and 10 to 20 minutes we okay.
Mm-hmm.
Banana is a sort of potassium, and I saw that, and I started to use it like that. Molasses helps with phosphorus and these things. It helps to build microbes. So I put it piece by piece together until I had one product.
Okay, okay. So you're dealing with your N, your P's, and your K, a complete fertilizer.
Yes, but
So-
they always carry micros and macros.
Okay, all right.
Yes, in it.
So in terms of for your nitrogen, do you do just a nitrogen-based fertilizer? No.
Yeah, I have one nitrogen-based fertilizer called NitroPro.
Okay.
That was developed in conjunction with a company in the US. It's called NitroPro. It's a liquid urea product. But the difference between it and the normal urea that farmers buy, when you use granular urea, you have to water your plant a lot. And if you don't do that, it burns your plant. 2, you lose a lot of money using granular urea. Because if the sun is too hot, it evaporates.
True.
If the soil is too wet, it drains out in the soil. With NitroPro, within 72 hours, your plant uses 70% of it. The other 30% microdoses your plant for 6 weeks. Foliar doesn't burn. NitroPro has all your micros and macros that you need to feed the plant, from transplant to flowering.
Okay.
So the 4 weeks that you're looking for, instead of constantly applying urea or applying a micronutrient, the product NitroPro now is literally microdosing a plant, feeding your plant slowly. So all now you have to focus on is controlling your fungus and your pests.
Okay.
So then you use much less. And compared to price, a bag of urea is almost $200 or $140. A bottle of NitroPro is in the store is $55. So you could see the difference. The bottle does 3 acres, the bag barely does an acre.
Okay.
So you as a farmer knows, okay, I could save money that way.
So is it strictly fertigation?
No, it's foliar, drench, or you could use your fertigation system.
So you spray, you spray
Yeah.
on it's foliar spray.
Yes, and I took that example to go into foliar fertilizers from our banana industry way before my time. Before, they used to spray by planes to control pests, and our banana industry, or the green gold like they used to call it, was on top. And I realized from the time we started to use more granular fertilizers, we end up in issues.
Sure.
So I decided to go that way.
Wow. And by your evaluation on the farmers, it's a success. It's successful.
It's a success.
Okay.
Even in Antigua, the farmer I have my test, I have never met this man.
Okay.
I literally have never met this man. It's through, again, farmer to farmer consultation. My farmer can just reach out to him, and then he reached out to me.
Wow.
And then I sent him the products. And he too is a veteran farmer. And he said to me, his first harvest was his profit of his entire crop that he normally has.
Wow.
So he was happy, and he put more farmers onto me.
Wow.
And I'm now exporting to Antigua to those farmers.
Hold that point. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. Back soon.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. Think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move. And of course, if you're joining us now, my guest, Mr. Eugene Gabriel, who's a founder and managing director of E&E Agrochemicals. Very interesting, Mr. Gabriel. Are you thinking, so you only deal with vegetables, and I also heard that you're dealing with mushrooms also.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a mushroom.
Yes, I do.
What sort of fertilizer do you use? Is it the same?
Agromax. We actually use Agromax to grow the mushrooms. When we decided to use Agromax for the mushrooms, it was more to be a more sustainable way.
Okay.
And more to get mushrooms on the market or for a longer space of time, but also to allow the grower of the mushroom to keep his bags longer in his grow room. So when I first started, he said to me he was only getting 4 flushes, so which means he was only harvesting 4 times from his mushrooms. We did an experiment where we started in January and ended in January the following year.
Wow.
So that showed us, okay, if we use that for that variety of mushrooms, we use Agromax, this is what we get. And then product by product, we use different of the agrochemicals to grow mushrooms to see what variety goes with what nutrient that I create.
Okay, okay. So right now it's at more at an experimental stage per se?
No, the experimental stage have passed. What we're doing with mushrooms right now in the experimental stage, I have created a biofertilizer from it, which is not yet on the market. We're doing more research, but one of the main reasons for doing the fertilizer with the mushrooms was to control the bacterial wilt.
Okay.
Through my reading, I realized a lot of overseas companies use mushroom substrate, spent substrate in a liquid form to control bacterial wilt, which we know we have that issue, especially banana production, tomato production. So I decided, why not? Why not us?
True.
Why not do it ourselves?
Okay.
Why not control something organically and do a zero end use? Because right now we grow the mushrooms. After I make the fertilizer, my goal is to actually use the remaining spent substrate to create a bag to grow the mushrooms again, or to create a compost. So we have to see those avenues to grow the agricultural sector in St. Lucia. And we have to understand, as St. Lucians, if you buy an agrochemical from me, the money stays here, majority of the money stays here. It circulates within country. The issue we have with food security or lack of agrochemicals, it enables me now to create more. So you now could grow the crops needed for the sector. So we don't have the complaint of shortage of food and this thing. Right now I'm working on agrochemical for stuff like potato, dashing, yam in the liquid form. It's done already, I'm just waiting for some documents. So once I've done that.
You know, our soils in St. Lucia, the pH, we have an issue with low pH. How does this work out with the use of your chemicals with our high pH?
So that is the one thing I've always known, because we both volcanic by nature. So that's why, as part of my nutrient line right now, I have 3 calcium products.
Okay.
I have pure calcium, I have calcium with magnesium and boron, and I have calcium nitrate. They all play a different role in growing the plant. The plant takes each one at a different stage of its life. So that now enables our soil, even with the Agromax, has a high calcium, because we know these are things that we actually need for our soil.
Definitely.
Yeah, and because Agromax now has so many microorganisms within it, it literally enables the transfer of nutrients to prevent, again, the normal illness we have with our crops. Lack of calcium, lack of nitrogen, lack of magnesium, through helping the plant thicken its membrane to take up those nutrients. So it'd be much easier, so we have no blossom and rot issue that the farmers constantly complain about once they use the agrochemicals properly.
But do you actually take any soil testing to find out exactly in the immediate area that you're going to use your chemical to get the pH levels of the soil? What
I've done, I have a few test kits, that I take the soil, I could literally tell the pH. Or I could take the probe, put in the soil, it will tell me what the pH is right then and right there. So I know, okay, this is what you're growing, but it varies so much. An example is Marquee Estate. With those farmers get flooded out sometimes twice a year. The pH changes.
It would.
So you have to constantly monitor it. If a farmer calls me and say, you know what, I had a good cucumber crop last week, but you know what, it rained heavy. Now my cucumber crop, the new one I'm planting now, is wilting. I know there's a problem somewhere. So it may be an influx of fungus that came down the river and flooded out, or washed out all the nutrients he now have been putting in the soil. So he now have to now add the calcium back. A lot of our farmers use lime. But what I've been telling my farmers, when you use lime today and you expect to plant on Friday, when is your plant going to get that calcium?
It takes a while to release.
It takes a while to release. So you have to now go into the liquid calcium with a low nitrogen.
Which is available immediately. Yes. Okay, so you're dealing now with vegetables, and so you hopefully you're looking at root crops.
Yeah,
okay?
root crops.
Of course, bananas and plantain, where are we?
NitroPro.
Ah.
In bananas and plantain, for years, we've used urea. Again, it's an expensive commodity that we cannot afford on the scale that we want to do it properly. NitroPro has been tested in Guatemala through the company who helped me develop it, which is Chemo International. They did over 34,000 acres of use of that product, together with a high potassium product. And it was successful. It was successful. Even now, I have farmers from Region 8 using NitroPro on their bananas. So we know it works once they follow the regimen that we give. Because we don't just sell your product. A lot of those farmers, we are in farmer groups with them. So we actually post the growth regimen for it. So you know exactly what at week 1, what at week 2, what at week 3, what at week 4. You know what is there, what you have to give to get where you need to go.
What is the demand like locally?
Locally, it's increasing right now. Right now, it's really increasing.
Do you have the capacity to meet your demands?
Right now, yes. Okay. Right now, yes. But farmers are asking for more local nutrient products, and the issue is space. I've been trying to work with the Ministry of Agriculture to get that space, so I'm thankful for them. So at the end of the day, once I get a bigger space, my farmers will get what they need.
So what do you need now? You need factory space.
I need factory space.
Okay.
I need factory space to deliver much more.
And in terms of, and that will probably meet your export needs, right?
Export needs also.
And where have you been? What other islands have you been working with?
Antigua, Grenada, and Dominica so far.
Okay. And you have done your experimental work there with them?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And those chemicals are eco-friendly?
Eco-friendly, yes. They're eco-friendly.
Okay, so you're working closely with the pesticide board, as you mentioned,
yes,
and they're the ones giving you permission to use.
Well,
how long?
Bureau standards.
Bureau
standards, because when you create a chemical, right, or fertilizer, when you send it for testing, that iOS lab sends you a document stating that the product is safe, stating what is in that product, what ingredients are in that product. So then when I create my label, I take that label to Bureau standards.
Okay.
And let them know this is what it is. Because they have a department for it.
Okay.
So before I even put it on the shelf, they now vet it. Because they don't have a lab, but they vet the lab overseas that normally does it. They call them because they have all the information. All the information is on the document that it's FedEx to me. So once I have everything from the international board, and I come to Bureau standards.
Your raw material is segregated locally.
Yes,
do you include the sargassum seaweed in?
No, I don't.
No, okay.
I don't.
Okay, but the other material, it's at lib. You can get them when you want.
Yeah, I could
where
get
you
them,
want.
I could get them when I want.
Okay.
I can get them when I want.
Wow.
One of the main ingredients is molasses, and I have to thank the Remdesivir for that.
Okay.
You understand? Because that's what feeds the microbes.
Microbes.
And the main product, Agromax.
Okay.
So I'm happy for that.
All right. So you are island-wide,
Yes, I am.
okay? And you are in, say, Black Bay.
Black Bay Farmers.
No,
recently. I'm trying to get into NFTO, Renwick Company, Castries and Viewfort, Carib Seed, Edwin B Products in Dennery, A&P in Choiseul.
Final words from you, sir?
Let's work together and push agriculture. that is, it cannot get better than that.
Yeah.
We have to push agriculture. No great economy cannot survive without agriculture.
Our food and nutrition security.
It's a must.
It's a must. Yeah. And of course, we have to eat fresh.
Yep,
St. Lucia's
always.
best, or what they produce.
Eat local, grow local.
Thank you again, Mr. Gabriel, for being here. I wish you success.
It was a pleasure.
Hey, look, I'm sure, this is just the initial stage. I know there are big things to come for you.
Yeah, there is.
And of course, for our St. Lucian farmer. Thank you again for being here. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. Thank you for viewing the program. And remember, as I've always said, eat fresh. St. Lucia's best. Your health is important and the money stays here. Thank you again. I'm Philip Sidney saying goodbye and see you again.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.